Hello and what is up, guys? Right here and welcome back to some more automation and BeamNG.Drive. In front of us is this Volkswagen Golf-ish body. The year is 1998 in the game, of course. What we're doing today is we're going to be building ourselves the ultimate racer car. If you guys don't know what a racer is, it's basically just a car that has had no performance mods done to it, or no actual performance mods, and just a bunch of aesthetic mods, and also things like weird exhausts, weird wheels, etc. Things that don't really affect the performance, that just are for aesthetics. And typically, they are pretty tacky. They look like this, or that, or something like that, basically. So they're not the prettiest thing in the world, but some people like them. So you know what, we're going to build our own today and see if we have a newfound appreciation for racer cars. So what we're doing is we're going to be building a 1998 sort of really basic, lowest trim model of some sort of cheap hatchback, because that seems like a common theme for some racers. You know, you can race a Honda Civics, Volkswagen Golfs can be racers, any kind of hatchback of the time could be a racer, really. And what we're doing is we're going to turn that thing into a racer later in the video. So we're going to make this thing very, very basic, very cheap, pricing probably under 20,000 or so. It is 1998 after all. People have, you know, certain budget needs and whatnot. So steel panels is what we're going for. We can go for treated steel, but that's too fancy. We don't need that. Monocoque chassis, it's cheap. Steel chassis material, that's cheaper than everything else. We don't need any corrosion resistance. We don't need that. That's fine. The car can rust in 10 years. Next things we're going to do is the engine placement. We can do a rear-wheel drive hatchback, but that's too fancy. That's too performance-oriented. It's got to be just depressingly basic of a car. Front engine, transverse, McPherson struts, and either a torsion beam or a semi-trailing arm. I think we'll go torsion beam. Nothing too fancy. Semi-trailing arm is kind of just not great either. So the engine is up next. This is going to be the most basic of basic cars, similar to like a Volkswagen Golf or a base Honda Civic or a Toyota Corolla or a Pontiac Sunfire, because that's a very cheap car as well, and those things are hideous looking. So inline four-cylinder, yeah, of course, inline four-cylinder, cast iron. We can do not push rod. That is a little bit too basic for 1998. We could go aluminum. You know what? Times are changing. It's almost the 21st century, guys. It's almost there. So we could go for aluminum, but we're gonna go for just like a basic single overhead cam, 3-valve cast iron, very cheap engine. 2 liters is honestly this. It's fine. 2 liters is fine. Cast iron, cast and cast. No turbochargers. VVT, we'll have that, I think. 9.5 to 1 compression's fine. No turbochargers. And like some just basic single point EFI with the regular fuel. Just super basic. Not low quality. It's not like a third world car. It's, you know, this is a normal car. Look at that. Look at that beautiful single point EFI. Looks just very cheap and I love it. So exhaust, short cast. It does need a catalytic converter. And what we're going to do is build the car normally first, then we're going to race it out. So we're going to give it just mufflers for now, just like a baffled muffler. Doesn't it, or no, nothing, just one muffler maybe. The engine's knocking. You want that timing down, let's just retard it all the way down and increase the cams just a bit. We need multi-point EFI, it does not, it barely runs on single, it's going to be too terrible. Okay, we'll just do multi-point and lower it down. So right off the bat here, 105 horse, 105 torque, which is, that's where we're shooting, honestly. We just want to make a little less power. So even this is fine. 90 horsepower, 106 torque, very basic. For multi-point EFI, it's really underpowered. But we are getting almost 20% thermal efficiency, which is pretty good. And I think we'll get good MPGs. So we have a couple body choices. There's a convertible, apparently. Okay, no, that's not the right picture at all. Oh gosh. So this hatchback, there's the one door. I don't know why that changed over there. So you can go for the one door or the two door. I kind of really like the one door hatch. Automatic or a manual, of course, just a 3-speed automatic. In 1998, I think that's still doable. This could be like the last year of the model, or maybe a carryover transmission. Maybe an advanced auto even. We'll do an advanced auto 3-speed, which is still doable, I think. I'm thinking, because I know Ford used their 3-speed automatic up until the 90s. I'm not too sure when, but up until the 90s. We'll gear it to about 200, but we'll limit it to like 1 at 40 even. Open diff, because what else do you need? And like hard long life 185 tires. Steel wheels, that's all you need really. Discs in the front, drums in the rear. That's a fancy setup we got there. No under tray, that's too expensive and high-tech for us, and it'll be a 5-seater. Or a 2+3? 2+3 sounds fine. Standard interior, basic cassette, because it's the 90s after all, and we'll be rocking out to some, you know, awesome 90s hits such as... I don't know any 90s hits, guys. I'm sorry. I don't know any 90s hits. Hydraulic power steering. ABS sounds fine. Traction control? Maybe we'll need that. Nah, that's fine. Basic safety. Standard, basic everything. 2 different normal. So 30 mpg is not that great for this depressing engine. Very light, 2,270 pounds. Very light. We're still getting about 30 mpg, which is not bad. The price, I'm gonna guess what, 18? 14. Wow, that's not bad. Low service costs. Pretty reliable engine, actually. 30 mpg, 14 grand. Lower this down all the way to the bottom. We don't need mpg. We don't need that. 13.4. It's a very cheap car, guys. 13.3. Oh, we're not saving much money at all. Oh my gosh. Not bad. So what we're going to do is design this beast. And we're going to design it in 2 ways. 2 stages here. It's going to be designed as just a basic, very basic commuter car. At first, being a very basic, lowest trim possible. And then we're going to design it again in another time lapse. But we're going to make this thing kind of a racer. It'll be maybe a short time lapse, or maybe just doing it live. I'm not too sure. So sit back, relax, guys. And of course, I hope you enjoy. So finally, we are designing our very, very cheap shipbox kind of vehicle. This is the base model, obviously, the pre-shipbox version. So we're doing the front end. It's going to be comprised of 4 main parts. The headlights, the main upper grille, the main lower grille, and then the side intakes, or the side grills, or whatever it's going to be at the end. So we have these sort of rectangular shapes across all the way with some slight curves for the main headlights and the grills. So what we're doing right now is just lining out, or making out, or shaping out, I guess, the bottom grille, adding some texture to the in between the top and bottom fascias of the car. And adding a few details to the headlights, just checking it out in certain angles and whatnot as well. Adding some more detail to the headlights, making them a little bit tall, a little bit more curved. Now working on the main center bottom grille, adding some lines, some bumper bars. We're making basically our own trim pieces here and there, adding some fog lamps, and making it so it's not really a grille, it's more of just an air intake that goes to, I guess, a fake black plastic kind of intake area. It looks kind of cool. And working on the details here and there. This actually took a little bit to get the details perfectly right, because it sort of stretches across the entire front end. Now taking a break to work on the headlights a bit, adding detail here or there, just add the basic shaping. The outlining of the headlights is going to stay chrome for now, but we'll change that later on. And now just adding the actual headlight housing itself. It's going to have these 2 sort of oval-ish shapes, with of course lights inside it, and then a turn signal on the edge of the headlight housing. Then again, checking the lighting, going back for the wheels, just adding these nice sort of 4-lug weird kind of cheap wheels. The back end, we did skip over a little bit of time for the back end, having a pretty simple rear license plate design, changing the color now. With some trim pieces on the side already added. And in front of us, we have the all-new Starzashi Shogo GF. Alright guys, so like I said, in front of us is the Starzashi Shogo. I have made another Starzashi in a stream earlier this week, or last week I guess, called the Show. That was our sports car. The Shogo is just depressing on all accounts, but still a Starzashi with a show badge, I guess. So it's got these pretty similar, pretty basic front headlights, this sort of rectangular, angry kind of shape. They look kind of weird at some angles, but that's okay. There's almost Dodge kind of style grille, but with the Starzashi star shape, I guess is what this is. It kind of looks like an upside down cross, but that's fine. We have this sort of horizontal slats in the bottom grille with these intakes here, with these fog lamps, which I think look pretty cool. The side, pretty simple. We have a turn signal, a door handle, mirror, a trim piece, and just different wheels, or different than the stock wheels, just 4-lug with some wheel covers and whatnot as well. The back, third brake light up top, we have this interesting custom license plate kind of area, whatnot, with a really weirdly placed keyhole. I placed it at complete random, so that's where it went. And we have the GF badge, and GF stands for Great Fun, because this car is extraordinarily fun. Nothing says Great Fun like a depressing CVT front-wheel drive shipbox. We have basic mirrors on the side, and like I said, the taillights are custom as well. Top and bottom, we have the brake lights, then we have this turn signal, and we have a reverse light there as well. Pretty basic car. Custom headlights, which look kind of weird. The custom taillights look pretty good, actually. And the grille is not custom. I changed it because it just saves time, honestly. It's good. It's fun. So what we're going to do now is design the car in its racer version. So we're going to race out this car. We're going to test them side by side, which one's cooler. It's going to have a slightly different engine, etc. You know, straight piped exhaust, obviously, etc. And then we're going to hop into BeamNG and compare the two side by side and see if they're better, see if it's worse. But most of all, just see how perfect we can make our very own racer car. And now on to the second time lapse. We are making the Shogo Racer version. First things first, we're giving this thing larger wheels and changing the rims to something a bit more tasteful. This is like similar to some BBS style wheels, I think. Putting 3 degrees of camber on the front and rear, making it very weird. Adding these sort of strips over top of the headlights. This is, I guess, like plastic dip or some plastic vinyl wrap over top of the headlights to give them some more aggressive look. Adding just 2 big hood scoops because you need more air stock, of course. For the turbocharger that this car is inevitably going to get some eBay turbo, adding a big old intercooler for no reason, a front lip splitter, and then adding a black vinyl stripe, or hopefully it's vinyl at least, all the way down the top of the car right in the middle. It looks hilarious, but I kind of love it actually, no joke. Adding 1 big old fart can exhaust at a nice angle at the back. And then we have this sort of lip on the side of the car, which it's only on one side, it's actually not on the other side. We'll fix that, make it look cooler later. Simple wing on the back. Rechanging the badges to yellow because that's kind of cooler and the wheels are yellow as well. Adding a simple turbo badge, and then some hood latches, and then a few details here. They're like a tow hook. We're making a little custom tow hook area so it sticks out nice and far for us. We're going to have another tow hook on the back as well, with some sort of a chime or a good luck charm or whatnot, whatever they have when you go drifting with this sick car. Obviously, it's pretty sick. Making the turbo very depressing, lowering the horsepower down to about 80 or 90 horsepower now, but more torque. Changing the gearing just a tiny bit, not very much at all. And we've actually made the suspension much more stiffer. And in front of us is the Shogo GF Turbo XR RT. Okay, so real quick, before we hop into BeamNG, we're gonna just go over what's happening with the Shogo GF Turbo Sport XR RT. That's the name I gave it. Don't question it. So we have, you know what? Honestly, it's kind of tasteful. It's not crazy. It's not silly. I mean, it is pretty disgusting and gross, but it's not like awful, you know? So we've got this really long front lip sort of splitter spoiler thing. Looks pretty crazy. We have an intercooler. Of course, it's turbocharged now. An eBay turbo with 80 horsepower, so it makes less horsepower than if it were stock. It does make more torque though, 130, so there's a bit of a torque mountain. Not too bad if, you know, I do say so myself. It is straight piped, no catalytic converter, no mufflers, because we don't need any of those. And then, so the actual design, everything else is pretty much the same. It is slammed, it is stiffer springs, etc., but it is slammed. It has got bigger tires to 18 inches with a slightly taller diameter tire, so pretty big wheels, honestly, kind of a donk. Same size brakes because, you know, that's performance, and we don't need more performance, really. The transmission is again going to be a CVT transmission in BeamNG, and it'll be a full CVT transmission. It's going to be working 100%. So design, instead of being this sort of off silver kind of color, it's now a bright green. The headlights are the same. We've got these sort of plasti-dipped sort of eyelids on the car, I guess, with this, or maybe they're like plastic or plasti-dipped. I'm not too sure. It's just really cheap looking things. They look kind of cool though, actually. They don't look terrible. A tow hook on the front. It's sticking out very far. I'm not too sure why, but it looks cool. The emblem or the car's logo, the badge is painted yellow because it's matching the wheels, etc. We got these 2 big scoops on the hood here because it's turbocharged and needs all that intercooler power and air suck, obviously. Hood pins, hood latches, I guess is what this is. You know, performance, obviously it's a race car. It's a race car. 1 stripe down the middle, because that just looks kind of cool. That, you know, that's for me. That looks kind of cool. We got big old deep dish kind of wheels. These ones are actually Unilog. These are actually real race car wheels. The reason why I went with these ones because like the design looks similar to some sort of BBS wheels. It is a monologue wheel, so it is like a race car actual wheel, but it does have the white scripture on it, which looks kind of riced on. It could look like a race car, but it looks kind of maybe someone like, you know, airbrushed on or something like that. The side is pretty much the exact same, though we have the side skirt on the side. There is no side skirt on this side though. There's holes for the side skirt, but there is no side skirt because it fell off because he only could afford the one and the other one wasn't put on right. I don't know. The back. We have 1 huge, really sideways angled exhaust can, and we have a tow hook with a little bit of a, I guess is like a good luck charm, like a tow hook charm is what this is. And a simple turbo badge up here because it is turbo, and the GF is in bright yellow now. Everything else is pretty much the exact same. Both cars will be real CVT transmissions in BeamNG, and I'll go over that once we actually are in BeamNG.Drive. We're going to do a few events testing both cars side by side, head to head, seeing which one's better. So let's jump in BeamNG. I'll see you guys right there. So we're here in BeamNG.Drive. This is the handling circuit automation test track. We're here with the Starzashi Shogo. This is the base model, the GF base model, not the riced out one, as you can probably tell. And it sounds interesting. It's got pops and bangs. I'm not... that's fine, probably. So this is the handling circuit. We're just going to go for a casual drive through here, and we're going to see how the CVT works, because it does, in fact, have a real working CVT, where we only have one gear, we put into drive, and that's it. It actually rolls forward pretty good. So we're going to drive here. And you're going to notice pretty quickly. There's pops and bangs, but there's no shifting of gears. Now, 1998, a CVT is pretty unlikely, but, you know, anything's possible with you if you really believe, you know? A bit of a drift here. It's pretty depressing, I know. And if we just actually slow down here and like just let it slow off and just, you know, sort of just cruise at 68 kilometers an hour or so. It's nice and slow. There's not much RPMs. It's nice and low. Around 2,000 is still quite high, actually, but it's not a perfect method on getting a CVT. I'll put a link down below on how to actually do your own CVT if you guys want to check it out. It's actually a pretty great tutorial. It actually helped me a lot. I just did a bit of tinkering myself to make it better. So we're cruising pretty slow here, 30 kilometers an hour. And if I floor it, very sluggish, depressing. But it is 1998, and it's a CVT. It actually acts pretty close to a real CVT. So we're going to do a lap here. Just one we're going to go to, again, time trial. We're going to do a time trial with this car and just sort of see what kind of time we can get on this track in particular. So we're in drive here, we're launching it. It launches okay, actually. It revs up to 3,000 quick, but then it's kind of slow. That's the only thing I had a problem with, is it revving not as high as I want. It does scrape a bit. It is maybe too low. Come on, we're high. It's so weird. It's so weird. Top speed is 140 kilometers an hour limited electronically. Come on, full, you definitely have to give it power before. It's so depressing. You have to give it power for sure before you're actually ready to turn. Because it takes like a good second to kick down to actually, or to kick up, I guess. I don't know how it works. This car is just depressing. It's definitely drives like a 1990s like eco box, basically. Finish off with a 140. Not my slowest time, but yeah, it's slower than my top 50. Okay, well that's fine. We're gonna hop into the other car. We're gonna do free roam here, restart, and I'll show you guys the beauty. We'll hop into the Show or the Show Go Turbo, or the GF Turbo Sport XRRT, I think. I don't know. This is what it sounds like. It sounds actually pretty close to the same. A bit louder. We got turbo noises now. It's a little faster off the line, actually. It's got more torque for sure. You can notice it. It's got wheel spin. We do have 3 degrees of camber, front and rear, which I didn't mention earlier, but it's got 3 degrees. It's slight camber. And it kind of feels faster. So we're gonna hop in and do a lap with this thing. And we're gonna compare it basically and just see what it does. Like, I didn't want to make it completely slammed with like max camber, because that's not fun to me, you know. I wanted it to be, you know, a more realistic racer. I think if you slam your car like 20 degrees of camber, and it's like a car that you drive, then that's not really a racer. That's just crazy, to be honest. You must be insane. So we're gonna do a lap of this thing. We got a 137 on the first car. 137. We'll launch this thing. Come on, we launch it. Yeah, I don't know if it's more faster. It's definitely more depressing. The wing doesn't add downforce, or does it? I don't really know. It feels faster so far. That turbo is real. There is no turbo gauge for boost right now, but that's okay. It actually doesn't look terrible. This reminds me of some kind of car that'd be in like the movie Cars, just like some riced out weird Japanese. It's supposed to be Japanese. It doesn't really look Japanese, but you know, it's Japanese enough. It's got pretty good power, honestly. It feels kind of peppy. There's only 80 horsepower. There's actually over 10 less than the base model, than the real car, which is crazy. We are doing some handbrake turns to help us rotate, because that camber is not helping our grip. This is on medium compound tires. The stock one's on hard long life, so we are on different tires. I decided to go for slightly nicer tires, but we also have 3 degrees of camber front and rear, so less contact with the road itself. The suspension's tuned, I think, pretty much the exact same. I think it's just very, very, very stiff is what it is. It's just set up very, very stiff, very low suspensions, lower and stiffer, with a lot more camber. Because I imagine this car to be on like cut springs. Okay, 137, same time. So at the same time, so it's not faster. There is no performance increases, even though we have a turbocharger. It's very small, but there is a turbo. Let's hop into the drag strip. And we're going to see here which one really is faster. So we are now at the drag strip here. We're getting lined up. We've got the boost gauge here now, finally. We've got the Shogo, the GF actual real car. We've got the Ricedale version right here next to us in bright, of course, green. This is the drag strip. So the AI is, so we both have the same CVT. He's got 10 more horsepower. I've got 40 or 30 more pound-feet of torque, so I've got quite a bit more torque, and he's got a little more horsepower. I also have less camber, but I've got medium compound tires. The CVT is geared the exact same. The transmission is the exact same setup. Same size tires, basically. Mine's taller diameter to bigger wheels. I think mine's a little lighter, I want to say. Just a little bit, maybe. I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on that part. But he's got 10 more horsepower, so we'll see. This is the drag strip map. We're going to have ample grip, obviously, for the amount of power we have. I'm going to launch my car the exact same way he launches it, basically just launching it on brake. Sort of roll all the way up to the line here. Now we're going to launch it. There we go. It's so depressing. Come on. Top speed. We're still pulling here. Oh, he's pulling ahead of us. That is really sad. Oh god, these things are depressing. It's so buzzy. So it's 79 miles an hour versus 84 miles an hour. Just under 84. That's pretty good. That's pretty good trap speed. 16.9, 17.5. He was faster. Oh, okay. We were terrible in the launch there. He's pulling a little faster. I wonder if we can, like, test the throttle and get better gearing. Maybe, I'm not too sure. The gearing sort of changes if you let the gas. No, same speed. Same speed. So 79. So he's actually slightly slower than my time. So yeah, this is the. I'll have a download link in the description for this car if you guys want to download. He's going for another lap. Nice. So you guys want to download it? Link is in the description. I'm gonna do another drag race here against the same car, I guess. I'll also have a link to the tutorial I followed down below. It's a really good tutorial, honestly. It did good. Check it out. Big shout out for whoever did that tutorial. I think I saw it on the Canadian Steel's server. I actually saw it recommended to me. That's where I first saw it, and I watched it, and it was a good tutorial. Check it out, link down below. Join the Discord, link in the description. A live stream's coming up the next few days, so make sure to stay tuned for that as well. And I've got another really cool build idea coming next week as well, so stay tuned. Thank you guys, I guess, so much for watching. You know what, and I gotta line up here. Hold on. And wait, hold on. And as always, I guess, I'll see you guys next time.